Lubna Hussain.
Naren Patel.
Nazish Hussain.
Aho. So we're gonna watch a video on poverty, which my topic is about.
Los Angeles, the home of some of the most desirable zip codes in the country. But right at the heart of this wealthy metropolis exist conditions that have been described by the city's own newspaper, the Los Angeles Times, as a national disgrace. One expansive 50-city block is an area that's become synonymous with poverty, crime, and homelessness. It's existed for decades and has dogged successive mayoral administrations that have tried to eradicate it. It's called Skid Row, and is home to an estimated 2,000 members of Los Angeles County's homeless community.
LA has one of the highest rents in the nation. And the reason why there's so many tents out here is because people can't afford to live in a house.
Steve Richardson, who goes by the name General Dogon, is an activist at the LA Community Action Network, which advocates for the city's homeless community.
Enjoy it.
So as we saw in that video, we can see that poverty is everywhere, not only in LA, where we only think about Hollywood and fame. Our society is so uneducated about poverty that they don't even know it's happening right in front of their faces and right in their towns. Why is this important to you guys? Why do you guys need to understand this topic? Is because tomorrow you guys can lose this house. Tomorrow you guys can, in a split second, you guys can lose all your money and be homeless and not have anything. Poverty not only takes place in third world countries, but it also takes place in our own towns. That's why it's important for us to know about this issue. We are citizens of the wealthiest nation in the entire world. We will never forget our goal. Our goal is to make sure that people have equal rights and the same opportunities to reach their American dream, such as right here. We have made great strides towards poverty by fighting harder and by fighting stronger. Too often do we take for granted our privileged lives and neglect poverty that is so prevalent yet rarely acknowledged. From an article on Concerned Worldwide, it has stated the various ways people live in poverty and how and why they live in poverty, which is little or no access to livelihoods or jobs, poor education, lack of basic necessities such as food and water, lack of infrastructure, and limited capacity of the government. I have seen this happen firsthand with my friends living on the streets, and I had to go out and help them buy a house because they were homeless and had no basic necessities. I understand how it feels to have nobody and nothing to live with. Some of the causes of poverty are disease and abuse. Once a family gets into poverty, it's extremely hard to get out because they are looked down upon society. They are looked down upon in society. They have no support from anyone or anything because people don't even want to give a homeless person a job. From the Gale Group in an article called Other America, it stated that the poor are unknown is one of the most important things about them. They are not simply neglected and forgotten as in the old rhetoric of reform. What is much worse, they are not even seen. They're not even seen as people. So how are people supposed to go out and help them when they're living right outside our doorsteps and we don't even acknowledge them? Poverty is so prevalent in our society. It's not only a third world issue. It's an issue that's happening right here in our own city. With rising tensions and lower jobs available, people are losing their houses and it's creating fights in families, which are destroying families. We need to make the greater public aware of how pressing this issue is and give more importance to what exactly poverty is and bring more awareness to it. In another Gale Group article, it has stated, since the late 1950s, Americans have seen some success and some failures in the battle against poverty. For the total population in 1959, 22.4% of 39.5 million persons lived before the poverty line, which is incredible. In conclusion, we have understood what exactly poverty is, and now we know in the last 50 years the government has actually been allocating money to these homeless people, but the homeless people have lack of education, so they don't know where to put these money, so they're just spending it not on basic necessities. According to the federal safety net, the total welfare cost has risen from $1,437 per person in poverty in 1967 to $18,369 per person in 2017. And over the course of the last 50 years, spending to eliminate poverty has increased, but the poverty rate has remained consistent and been the same. This is because of the U.S. social welfare has been completely ineffective and completely useless because no one has told the homeless people what to do. The government is just throwing money at them for no reason. Another quote, from the federal safety net says the individual programs were created over a 50-year with little consideration, with no master plan. Again, we can see that there is actually no effort taking place to make sure that these homeless people have a place to go and have a future to live with. Lastly, we as a community are taking strides from the AKF, like right here, to build awareness and grow awareness in our own society and our own community. With AKF stands for Aga Khan Foundation. It is where people donate money for the global poverty, and so that people can have the effort to go out into third world countries to give them medicine, basic necessities such as food and water, and better education. Bringing more awareness to this cause is the only way to get rid of poverty, of this epidemic, or else in another 50 years the same cycle will happen over and over again and poverty will never end. That's why it's our job to take a step and a leap of faith. Thank you.